Welcome in, everyone, to Football Friday, presented by Angels Alive. It is fantastic to have the legendary, amazing sports capper, Troy Hermo of the Hermo Maps. How's it going, brother?
It's good to be here, Rusty. Finally made it. One of the
Yeah,
last shows, of the season, but I'm glad to be here. So
yeah. Um, so we're gonna get into some NCAA news, NFL news, and then talk about all the stuff we got wrong on our preseason predictions for the college football playoff and NFL playoffs as well. Before we get into the show, you can just tell people about you a little bit about your story and your maps.
yeah, so I'm 28. I've been fighting stage 4 cancer the past like 4 years. And in this journey, I've like basically in my chemo chair was like, just going through and found these two knuckleheads with Mikey Locks and Vern talking about Nerfies. And so I started doing a little research for them, and that's turned into a map for baseball. And the map is like basically just a stat sheet that helps me put everything out there so that, every stat, every sort of like thing that could go wrong in the game is like displayed. And then I feel like it gives you a better understanding of the game and it helps you make better bets. So, and what started as just baseball has now turned into football. And, I do every sport now, even hockey. So it's like we're mapping hockey now. So it's been a full journey, and starting with like only like 400 followers, and now I'm like up to like 4,600, and still going strong. So it's all about giving the sports better, and including the best part is football. There's so much that can be put on a map. My favorite now is like DVOAs. I think that has changed the game as far as capping individual player props, because if a team just over the course of a year, you know what I mean, like doesn't do that great against the number 2 or slot receiver, it's pretty good to that the slot receiver is probably going to go over. So it's just one of those ways that the maps has like helped me elevate my handicapping and helped me honestly elevate my looking at the game of football. So, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to, share my knowledge, and that's what it's all about, is, helping people understand the game of football even more so. Like you think you don't even know. So that's the best part. So, and I'm learning every single day. So
Yeah, man. I can definitely say that I have gotten use out of the maps for sure. Um, yeah, I can definitely say I got use out of the maps, and I still do. For sure. I don't go in on every pick. I have my nice little system down now where I follow through on your hammers. College basketball, I usually parlay them. So, I don't win too much on college basketball. Usually if there's more than 2 or 3 hammers, I usually parlay them. So,
well, my biggest thing I've always told people is don't blindly follow my picks. Mainly use the information to find to come to your own consensus, and then you know what I mean. And if you come to the same conclusion as I do, then play my plays. Or maybe if it's a hammer and you agree with the hammer, then by all means upgrade it to a super hammer. You know what I mean, or like stuff like that. And I think that's the difference in blindly following cappers and then using cappers to help yourself become a better capper yourself. So
yeah, I have a nice system going where I do your hammers. I do anything that's 2.5 units or more with wagers for the boys and what Justin's got going on over there. And then part of the Hall of Fame fund. So I follow their picks, and then started my own thing with NHL and goalie matchups, picking money lines straight up there. So we'll see. I'm on a pretty bad run on those, but
Oh yeah,
that was
the main thing is
run.
if me, Shane of the Hall of Fame Fund, and like Shelly of like the surgical streams, if we all three are hammering a hockey play, it's almost like an 80% money line lock. But the problem is most of those are like minus 265. So you do have to like parlay it with something or play the puck line, which is also risky. So yeah, I get what you're saying. It's like, yeah, pick your poison. So
yeah, that's my thing. That's my thing picking on the NHL. I strictly use Bovada for my NHL picks and only under my bets are only under 200 minus 200. So
okay.
All right. So NCAA news here. We actually have something. Usually we don't have that much for NCAA news, but it was a jam-packed day and week. So Michigan, they are the dumbest. I'm sorry, they're the dumbest thing. They signed head coach Jim Harbaugh to another extension, just added 1 year on through 2026. But I have on the script, the buyouts are a joke. I don't even know if it's technically called a buyout because usually that's the school paying the coach. But what Harbaugh has to pay Michigan to leave in his first year, $3 million. So it's like come on,
Okay.
it's nothing. And then it goes down to 2.25, 1.5, and then $750K. And in his 5th year, he doesn't have to pay anything to leave. So from $3 million to $0 in 5 years, he still has a shot to go to the NFL again.
Oh yeah, no, the door is always going to be open, and his success with the 49ers should not be overlooked. And if I was Michigan, I would have just tried to just make him the highest paid coach and lock him down forever. Like, because he's finally got it turned around. It seems like they're finally turning the corner. The fact that he was even flirting with the NFL was super insulting if you're like a Michigan alum who thought he was going to be like a Shem Beckler and be there for like ever, you know what I mean? Like build his own legacy.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
damn.
I don't know. They have to be consistent to show me that he deserves to continue to stay there. My brother-in-law is an all Michigan fan. Red Wings, Lions, Michigan football, Michigan basketball. So, yeah, I don't believe the hype until he has more successful seasons and can beat Ohio State more than once.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. Only one win against Ohio State, and I believe only one win against Michigan State too. He really struggles against those rival teams, which is like crucial for Michigan football culture. So, yeah, I think. But like I said, he's finally turning the corner. So it's like, don't leave now. The bamboo's finally grown. We got to harvest. So
I'd be fine if he leaves. I'm a Penn State fan, so at heart, even though I went to Georgia, but the does not want to keep you connected, huh? Yeah, so I'd be fine if he left anyways. I'm a Penn State fan, grew up a Penn State fan anyways, even though I went to Georgia and I'm a Georgia dog fan too, but
I keep getting kicked out. I don't know what's going on. So sorry about that. It was like the third time it like keeps on disconnecting me and I have to like go back into the link. So
it's all good. Texting my friend. constitutional law homework took too long.
Oh God, constitutional law. That sounds like it would be brutal.
It's terrible. Next on NCAA news here, Arizona State looking for a new quarterback. Jayden Daniels is transferring very late in the process. First off, I mean, spring games are coming up down the pike in what, like a month? I
Yep.
don't know. So, you know, I don't even know where he's going to go.
Well, did you hear the backstory about all this?
I did not. My friend was asking me about what I thought about Herm, but
dude, the backstory on this is wild. So Herm Edwards was having meetings with Spencer Rattler and was like trying to convince Spencer Rattler when he first went to the portal to come to Arizona State, okay, and bring some of his high caliber Oklahoma buddies with him to Arizona State. And then Jayden Daniels heard about this, okay, got pissed off, okay. Rattler chooses South Carolina, okay, so Herm Edwards down bad, okay, it's because he pissed off his star quarterback and also didn't get Rattler. Then, Jayden Daniels now has entered the transfer portal after basically saying, F you guys for even, flirting with any sort of other quarterback. And now Herm is left with no offensive coordinator, no defensive coordinator, no quarterback, a weak recruiting class. There was 2 FCS schools that out-recruited Herm Edwards this last year. And morale has in the athletic director is completely over his head and is completely backing Herm in this. And to quote Herm, you play to win the game. And I don't know how many games they're going to win next year, Rusty, with this roster that they have right now. So, but where's Daniels going to go? I mean, yeah, like you said, you got a month to like learn a system.
I mean, I don't know about every single college program, but I have to believe that there aren't that many starting jobs out there left, if at all. My thing would be maybe he goes the JUCO route, plays at JUCO this year, and comes back next year into some FBS school during the normal transfer cycle. But I don't know the JUCO versus the regular NCAA, if he would have to sit out because he already transferred once to JUCO. That would
what
be
he should do. What he should do is just do a big FU to like Arizona or to Arizona State and transfer the Zona, because I mean he would probably start at Arizona. Let's be honest. Yeah. That would be, I think he would instantly make them a better team, and he'd be able to just stunt on Herm, you know what I mean, in that rivalry game. And I think that would actually be a good spot for him. I'm thinking of like close by schools, you know what I mean? He could probably go FCS if he wanted to, like do like Eastern Washington or something like that. Because I mean, if you're good enough, Malik Willis is getting enough NFL attention. He might be the first quarterback taken off the board in the NFL draft. So, and he's FCS. So, or no, Liberty just became Division I. So, but
they're D1.
They're Sun Belt now, but they were just like a couple years ago.
Yeah, I would hold off on Eastern Washington. I believe Eric Barrier is still there.
Still there? I thought he was a senior. Okay. Season.
Yeah, I think he has one more season. So
okay, all right.
But I mean, I don't know if they have the quarterback situation figured out yet. North Dakota State, because I know Quincy Patterson was transferred in for Virginia Tech, didn't really get the start. Cam Miller, I guess they're rolling with him for the next year or two. But I don't know. Jayden Daniels was so hyped like 2 years ago, and now we're here.
He had some good games. And if he stayed, he'd be in a really bad situation. So I get it from his point of view. He's pissed off that they were even looking at different quarterbacks, and he's probably pissed off that, basically all his coaches have been fired, or forced to resign. I mean, they're not fired, quote unquote, but I mean, you're basically fired. And then, the school is like getting all these sanctions. They're not going to be able to recruit as good. They had a horrible class coming in. I mean, what does he have? I mean, there to play for other than his own personal pride. And he'd be playing for, it's hard to like play for a coach that, doesn't believe in you. So, and he had a ton of really good games, which doesn't make any sense why they would even try and flirt with any sort of other quarterbacks. So, but this whole transfer portal era that we're in now is going to be nuts, especially as NIL gets bigger and bigger every single year, and these companies figure out how to capitalize. We're going to see guys leaving, I think, even weeks before the season starts sometimes, because they're going to get like, oh, well, this school is offering me a Corvette plus like $400,000 in endorsement money. And it's like, okay, I'm going to go there. That type of stuff. It's going to be interesting. If a rich donor really wanted to like, win in college football, they could, which is kind of what we're seeing at Miami. If you saw what's going on there.
Yeah, I can't. There's just so much that like I can't even follow who's where right now. I couldn't tell
everywhere. Yeah,
who's at school anymore.
It's hot stove for MLB every day. Like just every day there's some crazy stuff going on, like linebacker transferring out, guy getting pissed off because he's going to be the third string, transferring to a smaller school. Like honestly, the smaller schools are going to benefit from this too. So because as guys transfer into these bigger schools, traditional guys that are in the system that would normally play their junior or senior year aren't going to be playing. So they're going to be leaving, and it's going to get crazy. I don't know. We'll probably see rules, right? You think?
Yeah. I mean, I think I mentioned this when they announced a year or two ago about the one-time transfer rule. And I think I mentioned about the trickle-down effect that it would have, like you were saying, to FCS and Division II. I think it will happen. You'll see guys start going to smaller schools, because smaller schools, if you get a big time guy, they're going to get all the money from that small school NIL deal. So
that's it. Yeah.
Until week 1 comes, I won't know. You never know who's going to be on the field.
Oh yeah, it's for guys like Phil Steele who do like a football preview, and he's supposed to like put in these lineups. I mean, like, how is he even supposed to do that? Like, they're not going to even know even by spring practice. So,
all right. So also today, this was the most annoying thing probably of the day. College Football Playoff Committee announced there's still going to be 4 teams. It's going to stick at 4 until the expiration of the deal through the 2025 season. No unanimous decision on the 12-team proposed playoff, and so we won't have expansion until at least, at the very earliest, 2026. I know you put out a tweet about it earlier, I think, right?
Yo, yeah, we're gonna look back at this because it doesn't make any sense. So it's the same sort of mindset that when they wanted to expand the college basketball tournament, the same sort of backlash. Oh, we don't want to change the culture. We don't want to change the tradition. No, you just want the same power teams in the playoff every single year. You want to protect your own. You don't want to, like, when now the college basketball, the tournament makes billions of dollars, and they if they could expand it, they would try and make even more money. Why? Because there's so much money to be made. So when we expand this, and the college football playoff has already made more money than the BCS Bulls ever did. Okay, as far as viewership, TV revenue, all that stuff, numbers are way up. Could you imagine if we had instead of a March Madness, we had a January Madness? You know what I mean? We had like a holiday bowl madness where it's a 12 team. And the coverage, the money, the advertisement, we are missing out on billions and billions of dollars for these schools, these universities, and the TV companies. I mean, they're stupid. These schools, the fact that the ACC literally blocked this from happening just says something about the ACC. And it honestly, if I was like a Pitt, if I was a Miami, who's probably going to start competing now, if I was a Florida State, these power schools that traditionally could make a 12-team playoff, I would be calling and trying to get my commissioner kicked the hell out of the league, because that is ridiculous. You just basically cock-blocked not only everyone there, because 4 teams, we're talking 2 SECs, okay, and then let's see here, and then you're probably going to be talking maybe a Big 12 until Oklahoma and Texas probably join the SEC, and then you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. And a Pac-12 probably now with SC, so it's there's even less room for you. Instead of having just a Clemson, you could have a Clemson Miami, potentially. So it's it doesn't make any sense to me. It's ridiculous, and I could go on forever about it, but it's just why would you not want more money? More money, more opportunity. You would rather it be the SEC just dominate you every single year and you get no chance and you play in some potato bowl. Congrats. You know what I mean?
Heather Didich's article on ESPN about the non-expansion, she mentioned the 10 FBS conferences and Notre Dame forfeited roughly $450 million in potential revenue from not expanding. And my thing was, when expansion talks first came out, I said you can do a 10 team or you can do a 12 too. That's fine. But I said, my way would be you get the Power 5 conference champs automatic bids, and the highest ranked, like it is now, the highest ranked Group of 5 team gets an automatic bid. So that gets you 6. Notre Dame probably gets 7. Whoever independent, more than likely Notre Dame is going to get you 7. And then you have 3 at-large bids, or 5 if you want to do a 12 team. So that's
exactly. That system would work. And even if you wanted to dip your toes in the water, you know what I mean? Do 8 for a couple years. You know what I mean? Say, hey, from 2024 to 2026, we're going to try 8. And then if 8 works, maybe we can expand to 12 after that. Maybe we'll talk about it. But just the fact that they just completely just wiped it off the table is just gross, in my opinion, for college football as a whole and fans everywhere. So all these schools should be pissed off and hoping that they can. I mean, they should be forced to kind of go back to the bargaining table. I mean, it just sucks that we're going to have to wait, so long, 2026. Are you kidding me? The small schools cry right now. So the Cinderella stories, the Cincinnati's of this year that, I hate to say it's because they got smacked. There probably won't be another Cincinnati in the 4-team playoff. It'd probably be Notre Dame if they had to do it again. So,
yeah, and even if you want to get crazy with a 12 team and go all 10 conference champions get a bid, 2 at-large bids, so essentially Notre Dame and someone else.
Yeah, who says no? And then Mike Leach, he said, "Screw it, let's do 64." So you know what I mean. So, the Pirate is all for the playoff expanding. So I'm for it too. And hopefully we can get some smarter people. There's a lot of really old people on that committee. So hopefully maybe we can get some youth on there, some new thinking. Because like I said, this was the same pushback with the expansion of the college basketball tournament. So it was, this is how we've always done it. It's going to become weaker It's like, no, it's not going to become weaker. It's going to become stronger. People are going to be playing their ass off could you imagine those last 2 weeks of the season? If you're like the 14th team in the nation and you're like trying to play for a playoff spot, it would be awesome.
Yeah.
It'd be incredible.
Makes no sense how the FCS can do a 16-team playoff and FBS is limited to 4. So.
Oh yeah, the NCAA, yeah, exactly.
All right, NFL news here. So another, I don't know if it's controversial, if you would call him and Harbaugh's controversial, but another extension in the works right now. The NFL is working to extend Commissioner Goodell. Currently, his deal runs through the 2024 season. Could be looking at a 2 to 4 year extension, probably going to be his last one, even though that's what they said in 2017 when he signed his current deal. That was going to be his last deal. But he does turn 63 tomorrow, so happy early birthday, Commish. Good for you. So yeah, I think it's going to be in that 2 to 4 year range. Probably retire when he's 68. Get a new commissioner in 2027-ish.
Yeah, are you a Goodell fan?
I've never been, I think, on either side. He has really done a lot for the league that people, I think, don't know about or don't realize. Even though he is, I do feel like he is still a part of the good old boys club because he does protect the owners a lot. Especially talking about everything going on with Dan Snyder right now. But he has also pushed owners away. Look at Jerry Richardson with Carolina. He did that. I don't know why he's been so hesitant to get the owners together to push Dan Snyder out, but we'll see what that investigation comes out, since they just hired the former attorney general to do the investigation on that.
Yeah, but my biggest problem with that though is that like they're friends, like the attorney general is like friends with Snyder, so it's like, and then he came out and said, I have hired people to investigate myself. I was like, all right, time out. That's a big red flag. Of course you're gonna hire your buddies to investigate yourself so that you can. I just don't understand why the NFL hasn't like stepped in and gone. There's so many red flags with this case. So many women have stepped forward. He's been caught paying women, you know what I mean, to like, or like past employees to basically like, hey, your time here was great, wasn't it? Like it's just, I don't know. There's a lot of like stuff where it's like, I don't know, like, do we really,
right?
Do we trust that it's just like Manfred with baseball. It's like, is he protecting the integrity of the game? Does he really care about the growth of the game? And is he like the best that we can possibly get to be the face of the game? And, like, I mean, do you think like in the future, possibly like the commissioner would be like a past player, like a Peyton Manning type individual? Like who would be who would be the perfect commissioner? Like, I know that like we complain about Goodell all the time, but like, is he the best that we can get?
Well, if Archie wasn't the commissioner of the XFL, I would say probably Archie Manning, but
oh God, yeah, raising two of the greatest studs of all time.
But yeah, I don't really know who. I mean, obviously I was only 12 years old when Goodell came in 2006, so wasn't really into football as much as I am now. So I don't really know how they went about selecting him. It'll be interesting to see the second commissioner, really. Technically the third commissioner of my life, but second commissioner in terms of my actual football watching life. But yeah, I'm not sure which way they're going to go in a couple years when that happens. Yeah, I'm not sure. They could even who was that Who's that senator that really likes football? It's a woman. Don't remember what her name is. Can't remember what her name is, anyways. But she could be an interesting option as well. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like if a woman was the commissioner of the NFL, a lot of like issues would be handled like with not only compassion but care, and like there'd be a lot less like stuff wiped under the rug for sure. So a lot of stuff would
Yeah,
like we wouldn't have any of these crummy owners like slipping through the cracks like we do. Like the stuff that Kroenke's been able to do is within Goodell's era has been insane. The fact that even the owners have faith, in Goodell is wild.
yeah, and I think that is part of the. I mean, the owners had to vote for the commissioner. I think
Yeah,
so.
that's the yeah. It's they the commissioner represents them. I mean, he's supposed to represent like the whole league, but the commissioner represents the owners of the league to make sure
Mhm.
that the stuff that no owner is overstepping boundaries and or corruption, collusion, as Ruxin would say in the league. We always be looking out for that. So
Overstepping boundaries. Huh. Wonder what Jerry Jones has been doing all his time with the Cowboys.
overstepping boundaries. Yeah, he Jerry will push the
Single-handedly
limits
getting a
of
team in LA.
time. Yeah, Jerry will be like 185 because medical science is like gone that far, and still going after troublesome draft picks, and still trying to get guys like Pac-Man Jones and Tank Johnson, and he loves like the troubled guys, and that he can get like a cheap contract on. And yeah,
Yeah.
Jerry he's a mastermind. Like if he just let what's his Tex? I forget what his son
Steven.
is. Steven. Yeah,
Steven.
if he just let Steven run the GM stuff, and then Jerry just could sit in his box, eat his popcorn, just have a good time. The Cowboys would have like 3 Super Bowls in the Romo era, but because Jerry has to play the puppet master, and he's got to have, we had Jason Garrett for the longest time, who, God, I'm a lifelong Cowboy fan. I'm named Troy because I'm named after Troy Aikman, and yeah, don't even get me started. Jerry, he soils himself, in my opinion. Like we should have like 8 Super Bowls, like because Jimmy Johnson should have never left. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
all
I would
sorts of
laugh
good stuff.
if Jerry. I would laugh so badly if Jerry, in his will, he doesn't lead the team to Steven.
Well, yeah, would that be crazy?
That
Yeah,
would be
we
so
get.
funny.
What if it's like one of those, like, you know what I mean, when they always pan up and it's one of those little grandkids? What if it's like one of the little grandkids is like in control of like the Cowboys empire? Like it's like some like Emperor's New Groove type stuff. Like he like changes everything. It'd be awesome. Honestly, maybe
He's
that'd
gonna
be funny.
He's gonna lead the team to Aikman. That's
Yeah, and in the note, it's I wanted to draft Manziel. I still can't believe that Steven talked him out of drafting Manziel. He had the card written and everything. I was like, God damn it, Jerry. With Romo, he wanted to draft Johnny.
The AFC champions, Cincinnati Bengals. They are also getting an extension done. They signed head coach Zach Taylor to a deal through the 2026 season. Good deal for them, obviously. Zach Taylor's done a wonderful job in 3 seasons. 2 seasons, not very good. Obviously, the first year was not good. Burrow gets hurt in his second season there in Cincinnati. And look at that. Third season, healthy Burrow. They get Jamar Chase, and they go to the Super Bowl. It's scary as a Steelers fan that the changing of the tide is coming. And it's I am happy that it's Cincinnati though, and that the Ravens are starting to suck because everyone knows what Lamar Jackson is and can do, and the Browns are browning like they always do. So.
Yeah, Ben's been able to be Ben for this long because the Browns are the Browns, and you know what I mean, and the Bengals are the Bengals, and you guys are finally going to have to feel some of those struggles that these teams have had in your division for the long time, and it's now probably going to be Joe's time to reign, but. How much did they say how much of the extension it is? Did he get a hefty raise? Was it a few million?
I didn't see
No numbers were released yet.
any
They
terms
probably won't
anywhere.
release it for a few days.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's fine. The Steelers will be fine when they draft Kenny Pickett. And keep him. We got to keep him. So
that's your rusty Oracle ball.
Kenny Pickett. I've been campaigning for Kenny Pickett for so long. I wanted the Steelers actually 2 years ago in 2019 or 2020. I mean, to draft Jalen Hurts because I thought he was a perfect replacement for Ben Roethlisberger. Eagles drafted him before the Steelers' second round pick, and I was pissed off. But it's fine because the Eagles are my number one team. So it's all good. Jalen Hurts he's taking us to the Super Bowl next year. It's fine.
Jalen Hurts. All right. You heard it here first.
I already locked my future in for the Eagles for next year. Plus 35.
Did you? Plus 35 to 1.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, with the fact that the Eagles, squeaked in this year, I laughed at Tony Romo when he said that the Eagles would surprise some people because I was like, no way. That they're going to have some serious growing pains. But, they struggled at times, but they definitely, finished strong. And Hurts did show signs that he could be like a starting quarterback in this league. So, it's exciting times in Philly. If they can get a couple pieces on defense in the draft, look out. And a receiver that can catch the ball.
I keep telling everyone this year was exactly felt like 2016, right? The year before we won the Super Bowl. So, our Super Bowl winning head coach, Doug Peterson, Jaguars' new head coach, announced he will be calling the plays again like he did in Philadelphia. So not unexpected, but Trevor Lawrence will have Doug Peterson in his ear during the games. The Vikings coach O'Connell has his defensive coordinator hiring Broncos defensive coordinator Ed Donatel. Not too familiar with Ed Donatel, but did a nice job in his only year as the Broncos DC in 2021. So, and the Broncos, to get his replacement, they went to the Super Bowl champs, hiring Rams secondary coach / pass game coordinator Ahiro Aviro, I believe is how you say his name. I'm not exactly sure how to say it, but yeah, that is who the Broncos and Nathaniel Hackett's new defensive coordinator is in Denver. Rams coaching staff could get picked apart here because Kevin O'Connell's looking to bring a guy with him as his offensive coordinator. Rams running backs coach Thomas Brown interviewed with the Vikings for their OC job, even though I believe O'Connell's probably going to call plays, I would think. And then for Kevin O'Connell's replacement with LA, Rams are putting together a laundry list here of names for Kentucky offensive coordinator Liam Cohen, pretty decent job with the Wildcats last year and the last couple of years, actually. Kentucky's offense has been pretty decent anyways with Chris Rodriguez. I love Chris Rodriguez, running back there at UK. Also interviewing for Rams OC, former Raiders offensive coordinator Greg Olson, Falcons quarterbacks coach Charles London, and LSU passing game coordinator Cortez Hankton. Don't know too much about Hankton, or London, but Greg Olson. I mean, how many spots has Greg Olson been at? I feel like he's been all around the league by now.
Yeah, like all over the place. But I don't know how he would win that job. That'd be a super dark horse candidate if he won that job.
Well, you know what's interesting? Jim Bob Cooter is now out there in the win. Matthew Stafford can get him back in LA like he had in Detroit.
Oh my God, what a reunion. Jim Bob Cooter.
Yeah, Justin went off a little bit on the other last Friday when he was on about his Lions and Jim Bob Cooter. Mentioned on Monday, Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow, his knee injury not going to require surgery. They officially announced that it's an MCL sprain, so probably a couple weeks and he'll be ready for spring practices then. But what is the deal? Everyone's getting an MCL sprain in the playoffs. You know, Higbee had one, Uzama had one, now Burrow had one. What's the deal with all these MCL sprains?
I don't know. Maybe it's the shoes. I don't know, the way they're training. I don't know. It's weird. All these quarterbacks and guys that shouldn't be getting too much wear and tear on their knees. Breaking them basically.
And then ending the NFL news segment with some transactions here. The Falcons giving linebacker Dante Fowler an early start on free agency for him. Never worked out like they really hoped in Atlanta. So Dante Fowler, whole latch on, situational pass rusher. Why not? And then the Cardinals, they released corner Malcolm Butler from the reserve retired list. He retired last season, but he is going to make a comeback this year, try to play once again. So Malcolm Butler could be on your team for the right price.
Interesting. Well, it'll be interesting if he lands anywhere. I always love it when guys say, when guys say they're coming back, they're like, I'm coming back, like Dez. For like 2 years.
He hurt his first game again with the Saints.
Yeah, it's like, and it's also just because you say you're coming back doesn't mean the teams want you. Hey, I'm coming back.
T.O.'s been saying he can play for the last 10 years now. So,
well, have you seen him? Every time he posts one of those workout videos, he looks better than like 90% of the guys in the league. So I would love to see T.O. run some routes, honestly. Hilarious.
Hey, I mean, Eagles reunion. I'm fine with that. That's cool.
He can't be much worse than Jalen Reagor. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. JJ Arcega-Whiteside, great times.
Oh God.
All right, that's all the NFL news. I haven't seen anything new pop up on my Twitter feed, so let's go ahead and check out the final pick standings. I had locked in the pick standings championship this year during the conference championship games. So the Super Bowl really didn't matter, but I did lose. Mark and I were both on the Bengals. Chris was on the Rams. And I did not go a single pick of yours because you were all over the Rams and I was all over the Eagles.
Yep, I was very thankful that I went money line, so I didn't get screwed by the 4.5 like most of my following who played the spread. But that not getting the touchback, the no touchback in the beginning of the game, basically deflated my Super Bowl to where it was like it was lost beyond repair. And then losing, I think I had my same game parlay by like 8 yards and like 3 points was also pretty disappointing too. So the Super Bowl is a sore subject. So
Yeah, I agree. I did not win anything.
there's a lot of tears.
Luckily, it didn't matter because I had futures for both the Rams and the Bengals. Bengals a lot more. They were plus 1750. Rams were only plus 600. So, yeah. But it did decrease my debt from the Super Bowl a little bit anyways.
It made the pain a little bit less, right?
Yeah. Plus, I hit on Matthew Stafford interception. Evan McPherson over 7.5 points was cool. So, and speaking of my best bets record, I really don't know what I did this season. Best bets record, Troy, over the season was me picking 3 games against the spread every week.
Okay.
And 10 games under 500 is how it turned out. And for the Super Bowl, well, actually, this record includes, we did week 1 for college football. I did best bets for that because NFL hasn't started regular season yet. And then for Super Bowl, Bengals money line under 48.5. And then Uzama touchdown, very disappointed. I thought for sure he was going to score coming off the MCL sprain.
Yep. I had a hunch too that he was going to be at least involved more in the offense. It was kind of disappointing.
2 catches.
Yep, that's it. Yep, a big fizzle. Nothing.
So while we're on this, what was your best and worst teams of your NFL season betting wise?
Well, the best team to bet in the NFL this year had to be my favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys. It seemed like they were always covering the spread. The spread was always like 5.5 to 7, and then we would, and then they would cover easy, like most of the time. There was only like a couple weeks where they failed me big time, but I hit multiple hammers on them. My least favorite team to bet on would probably be like the Minnesota Vikings or the Los Angeles Chargers. Multiple times Herbert had a lead for me and the defense completely failed and just dropped dead at the end of the game. I do not have any faith in Stokely or the coaching staff over there in Los Angeles. They don't know what the hell they're doing as far as game management goes, because the amount of leads that they blew for the betting community and the amount of pointless touchdowns we gave up and the amount of times we went for it on 4th down and didn't get it, that led to touchdowns that screwed us, definitely needs to be investigated as far as analytics wise go, because crimes against the betting public for anybody who bet on those 2 teams. So what about you, Rusty? What's your top teams that you bet on and the teams that screwed you the most?
Yeah, I don't really know in terms of, the only way I really tracked was, on the Action Network app. So I didn't really pay attention to every week who was getting me and who wasn't, but just going through looking at, I don't know, there's a lot of red. So, granted, that was back, when I was still stupid and doing, 4 parlays a weekend and everything. I was almost like Alex. I was close. I was close to being like him. But I think the Bucks really did did well for me, at least just the feeling out wise. There were a lot of weeks I believed in Washington, I think. Oh, that was tragic. Eagles plus
You were
9.5.
you know, to say you were a Heineke believer.
Sometimes I don't know. The Panthers early on were really good for me when they went 3-0, and then they just fell off the cliff with Sam Darnold. So that was a fun ride. Yeah, I don't know. I really liked when I would get dogs right every week, because we had a dog of the week and we had our locks of the week as well. The dogs were just so much more fun to get than the locks. Picked the Panthers a couple times for that. Picked the Dolphins a couple times too. No one believed in the Dolphins. Oh, God, looking at some of these is making me sad, dude. Some of these parlays that missed by like just barely.
Rusty, the amount of parlays you have sent me that have missed by one leg, if I had $1 for each one, I'd be a gajillionaire. Like, I mean, like, it's so sad. You're like, and there's a few of these followers that I have that send me these on a daily basis. This one guy, I swear, he misses a $10 to win 1,800 by like one or two, like every single day. And it just hurts my soul. And they're always like first half college basketball. And I'm like, why don't you just stay away from the first half? Like, just play, like, I don't know, second half, full games. I don't know.
Dude,
Like,
yeah,
gotta,
I'm the king of one leg losses. Like this one right here. Like, it was a 7.5 point teaser. October 10th. Washington plus 10. They lose by 11 to the Saints. Like, bro, come on. Oh, God. I think the Colts were very good for me. I was train probably starting around the first quarter of the season. After that, I was like, bro, this guy is good. He's gonna be good, and we're rolling. And he made me a lot of money. I mean, futures. Right when Derrick Henry went down, I went in on futures. Jonathan Taylor lead the league in rushing yards. Jonathan Taylor lead the league in rushing touchdowns. Those were absolutely money at big prices too. Rushing yards. Let me see if I have the futures tab here. Rushing yards was, where the heck is it? Apparently I don't have it in my futures tab. I think they just put it randomly in there. I don't know. I don't know where it was.
it's all good.
Yeah, I thought it would have had to been at the end of the season. Oh, there we go. Taylor to lead league in rushing touchdowns was 10-1.
Wow.
So, yeah, I got that literally, like I said, right after Derrick Henry went down.
That's the easiest $1,000. I would have put just $100 straight up. That would have been time machines, man. I need one.
I'm so scared. I only put 10.
Still $100. It's still 100 speckles. That's still really good.
I think the touchdowns for him was $90. I think might have been less than that, but yeah, some of those futures were very good. Cooper Kupp as well. I put in him to lead the league in receiving yards. That wasn't that good. That was only like 290. So, but yeah, it was pretty good overall. I mean, NFL is still the second most money I've lost. Baseball is the worst. So
We're gonna fix that this spring if they ever can fix their stuff, Rusty. You're a part of Maps Nation now, and we don't lose at baseball. We only win. So
yeah,
we're yeah, I this is why I have 4,600 followers, mainly because of my baseball content. So we're gonna be hitting home run parlays this year. And now that I know how to work around projection sites and all this stuff, like I'm creating the first ever Hermo uh like rating score. So the Hermo projection. So there's like all these other projection sites. I'm coming out with my own, and it's going to revolutionize the game. So I just got to figure out how to basically program it so it's automatic. So I'm going to be talking with my map engineers on how to get that done. Same thing for football next year. We're going to be doing some different type of projections. It's going to be awesome.
yeah, I'm hyped. I'm ready. I'm rolling through the NHL right now. Some of this stuff has just been crazy. What I've been hitting on NHL, man. I mean, hat tricks, betting hat tricks live has been my new phenomenon. I absolutely love it. It is
So
fantastic to bet hat tricks
what
live.
what what odds do you get though? Like when you're betting these live, and like, are you betting it when they scored the first one, or are you betting it when they scored the second one?
Second, always bet after the
Second.
second one. And
Okay.
usually, if it's not like a top player, you're usually going to get at the very worst, depending on what time of the game it is, they score their second one. Like I know I got Matt Boldy for the Wild I got him at plus 400. So that's pretty good. I know who was it that had um I think Michael Bunting for the Leafs had two, and it was early, but he's a guy that scores for them. So he was only like plus 180, but then it ended up, they gave it to a different guy. So, it ended up not being a hat trick opportunity. But last night was crazy. I didn't have the option to bet a guy to score 3+ goals when Patrick Laine hit his second one for the Blue Jackets. So I was like, screw it. I'm going to go and bet the 11th goal scorer to be Patrick Laine because why not? It's
Yeah,
just
why
$10.
not? Yeah.
10 to 1, $10 to win $100. He hits the empty net goal with like, I don't know, 6 seconds to go. I was like, oh my God.
Nice. That's an awesome hit.
Yeah.
That's a really good hit.
So yeah,
10 to 1.
that's my new phenomenon is betting hat tricks live is crazy. And it doesn't happen that often. It really doesn't,
No.
but it's fun to do that. So all right. Let's get back to college football a little bit and talk about our guys and mine. College football playoff preseason bracket predictions. So obviously my dogs, I should get my my Georgia national championship hat out for this. Yeah. Yeah. We got the natty hat on here. So Mark's bracket, he had the Sooners and Spencer Rattler winning it all. I still can't believe Mark is a fellow Georgia alum, just like myself, of the UGA Sports Management Master's program. And I couldn't believe he put Georgia second. But he did, and he was wrong, which I was happy about. But yeah, so he had Bama fifth. I did as well, which you'll see in a little bit. Ohio State second, Clemson third, Oregon sixth. And yeah, only two of these teams made it. So Mark went 2 for 6. But yeah, Clemson was just a dumpster fire. And Oregon couldn't beat Utah. So
Oregon, I truly believe Oregon probably would have been a playoff team if they would have, instead of like basically just kind of letting Anthony Davis just kind of do his thing, they actually threw in that 5-star quarterback who can throw the ball really well. Like his spring practice looked amazing. Like there's no reason he shouldn't have played. And if Cristobal, you already know Miami was chirping in his ear midway through the season. So, yeah, I'm sure if he was fully focused, if, they entrusted a guy who could actually throw the ball, Oregon would have made it. And Clemson's kind of the same sort of thing. The quarterback just play wasn't that he was a highly touted, 5-star quarterback, that DJ. He just could he really did he barely showed signs of promise. So he wasn't Trevor Lawrence. I mean, basically we really saw how much Trevor Lawrence meant to the Clemson Tigers. So
and it's so funny to look at the one game sample size going into the season. The Notre Dame game was what everyone talked about. DJ Uiagalelei was amazing in the Notre Dame game, and he still lost.
Yep.
But, was really good in that game. And I think DJ and Spencer Rattler had almost the same season, except DJ kept his starting job the entire season. That's because Clemson didn't have anyone else to go to. And then Ohio State, you lose to Michigan, don't make the Big Ten championship. So.
Yeah.
Chris's is next. His was interesting. He had the right two teams, just the wrong outcome in the championship game. He also had Oklahoma and Clemson in the playoff. And he had A&M. He had Jimbo at 5, Iowa State at 6. So, and I was reading up on A&M the other day, about if they would have just continued to win after they beat Bama, they would have been in the, for one, SEC championship game and possibly even the playoff. Iowa State was very disappointing. I was very high. I had Iowa State winning the Big 12 and disappointed by the amount of starters that returned and didn't get it done for Matt Campbell.
Oh, yeah, big time. They were probably the most disappointing team in the Big 12.
Yeah, now he's got to rebuild there now. Breece Hall gone, Brock Purdy gone, Mike Rose on defense, a couple other guys. So. But yeah, I think Chris's was pretty good. He, again, only had 2. I mean, I don't think anyone would have had Michigan or Cincinnati in the top 4 in preseason. So. And then my college football playoff bracket, I had the Dogs winning, and I was right, except I can't remember. Was Georgia they were the 3, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
They were the 3.
Yep.
Okay. So I was right on that. I got their exact seating right and that they won. Yeah, I just thought Clemson would continue to dominate, and they didn't. But yeah, I had pretty much the same teams: Oklahoma, Ohio State, and then like Chris, I had Iowa State at 6. Bama out. I just thought that Bama was going to have 2 losses, and that would not allow them to get into the top 4. And they would have. had Georgia been able to beat them in the SEC title game, but it's fine. We'll take the national championship instead.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't complain.
Yeah, Oklahoma. I just laughed about Oklahoma like all year, except when they screwed me over a couple times, especially against Texas. I think I had Oklahoma money line or something like that.
Oh,
I don't remember. I just remember getting very mad about the Texas game, for some reason. Yeah, but that was really our brackets. Again, I don't think many people had Michigan or uh, Cincinnati up there. Probably a lot of people had Cincinnati at 5 and 6. Where what was it? Notre Dame and who finished at 6?
God, I can't
But,
remember.
Baylor, right? Baylor.
Yeah, Baylor. Yeah, sounds about right.
Screw Baylor too.
Yeah,
I was on Oklahoma State from like mid-season. I was like, bro, this is the year. This is it. Oklahoma State Cowboys. They're gonna get into the playoff, Big 12 champion. Screw Baylor. Anyways, let's move on to our NFL playoff bracket preseason predictions here. Starting off with Chris's AFC bracket. We did actually pretty decent. Not on the AFC side. On the NFC side, we did really, really good. AFC was not terrible. He got every team except for 2. The Bengals and or no, he got everything except for 3. My bad. The Bengals. Why is my brain not working right now? I need to put Steelers hat back on. I think I work better with the Steelers hat on. So the Bengals, Raiders, and Patriots were the 3 teams he didn't get in. I felt bad for Chris most of the season because I knew he had the Chargers as the number 1 seed all year. He had to live with that pain. So, yeah, it was not a good call on Chris's part, but he did get one of the 2 AFC champion opponents right in the Chiefs, putting them there as the 5th seed in his scenario. But I believe we all had the same 2 teams in the AFC title game, Chiefs, Bills. But yeah, you got the Titans right, winning the AFC South. Bills right with the East winner. And then, like I said, the North and West winners were incorrect. But he did put the Steelers in at 7. Got that one exactly right. And the Bills were 3rd seed. Or, yeah, 3rd seed. All right, let's go to Mark's division AFC bracket here. Yeah, Mark had the Browns in the playoffs. He'll admit it. Not a good call on his part, but I think I did too. So I share in that hardship of putting the Browns in the playoffs for the 2nd year in a row.
they barely missed, so it's not like too terrible.
Yeah, it was heartbreak. I had a 30. It was like a $39 bet for like four teams to make the playoffs. It was like the Bills, Bucks, Browns, and Chiefs. I think it was,
Ooh.
or something like that. I was like, bro, this is a lock. I put it in preseason. Yeah, did not work out very well. So yeah, like I said, he had the Chiefs and the Bills in the AFC title game, just like Chris. It's interesting though that we all had the Titans losing in the AFC divisional round. Kind of knew that was coming. Not that it would be the Bengals, but you know, he again had three teams incorrect: Browns, Ravens, and Chargers. Mine, I had three teams wrong as well. I had the Colts in the playoffs. They probably should have been in playoffs.
I was gonna say they should have been in the playoffs.
But they can't beat Jacksonville in Jacksonville. That's a fact. So yeah, I was very happy that Ben got one more last run in the playoffs, even though it was against the Chiefs, who I had them matching up with in the divisional round. But yeah, again, Chiefs Bills in the AFC Championship game for me. My NFC bracket, I was the only one of us that put the Rams in the NFC Championship game. I got the Niners right moving on to the second round. I didn't have it right on who they played in the first round, but I did have their seeding right and that they moved on to the divisional round playoff. And even though they didn't, they moved on to the championship game too. But yeah, I knew the Rams were going to make it to at least the championship game, not to the Super Bowl. I liked the Bucks too much this year. But yeah, I was wrong on the Saints and Seahawks. Saints almost snuck in. I was kind of rooting for that because I didn't want the Eagles to play the Bucks. I would have rather went on and played the Cowboys for the third time this year because I thought we had a good shot against the Cowboys over the Bucks. They had a better shot at playing the Rams than they did any one of the other three divisional winners. But yeah, so I was wrong. I didn't put the Eagles in. I didn't put the Cardinals in either.
You got close. Besides the sea chickens in there. But
Mark had the Cardinals. He was on it. He got every team except for the Eagles right in his playoff prediction. Only issue with he didn't have a team right in the NFC Championship game. Had the Packers going, beating the Rams there. Yeah, he was very low on the Cowboys. 9-8 record there, Troy.
ooh. He thought the
But
division was going to be a little bit tougher. He thought Joe Judge was going to get the Giants to turn the corner, I guess.
well, yeah, this year in the NFC East was a very odd year where there wasn't like a second team that was really close near the end, like it usually was like. But yeah, I know he was happy to get the Cardinals right. 3 NFC West teams. Or no, he had all 4 of the West teams going in.
Which
in
is
his
wild.
playoff.
Yeah.
I called him.
Yeah. I noticed that. I was like, wait a second here.
Yeah.
How's this possible?
I called him crazy in the preseason, but if Russell Wilson could have, had an offensive line and a defense, maybe the Seahawks would have been in.
Yeah, if the defense would have been a lot better, and yeah, Snyder had the team set up for success, they would have been a little bit better.
And then Chris's, he had the same NFC Championship ending, Bucks, Packers. I didn't believe in Aaron Rodgers. I'm not a big fan of Aaron Rodgers, so that's fine. even though I live in Milwaukee and everyone's a Packers fan here. But I tell people to their face, I don't care.
Savage.
But yeah, Chris had the same teams I had, just in different order. He also had the Niners moving on to the divisional round. He had the right game, just wrong seating for the Niners Packers there, or Niners Cowboys game. All right, let's get to the championship, Super Bowl 56. Yeah, Chris was all sorts of wrong. He did have the Chiefs in the AFC title game, but Packers did not win the Super Bowl, thankfully. Actually, that's an interesting construct to look at. I don't know if I would have rather had Aaron Rodgers win the Super Bowl or the Rams. I'm not a big fan of either. So, well, really, I'm really not a fan of just one person on each team. Aaron Rodgers for the Packers, Sean McVay for the Rams. I don't really like Sean McVay at all. So,
Fair enough.
And then mine, I was close. I got 2 out of 4 in the conference championship games. Neither team, made it. And this was the bet that I was the most mad at losing this year. Right after the draft, I put in $20 to win $500 on a Bucks Bills Super Bowl matchup. And they both got the divisional rounds. They both almost went into overtime. Bills did go into overtime. So I got the right divisional matchups just in the championship games. And I was just so sad that neither team made it to the championship games. And I didn't even have a chance. But that was one that I was banking on all season. I was just waiting for it to cash at the end of the year, and went down in flames the divisional round. And then Marks, again, he only got one right. The Chiefs in the conference championship games. He had the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl for the second time in 3 years. Did not occur either. So, yeah, it wasn't that great. We didn't do any mulligans in mid-season or anything like that. So we stuck by our picks all year. And it's tough.
It is tough. It's the hardest job in the world, predicting the future. So,
especially 5 months in the future.
Yep. Yeah, in the most injury-plagued sport in the world.
Right.
So, it's hard.
Yeah. I didn't think it went too badly. For not taking any mulligans. So before we get to next week, I don't know if you had any preseason predictions, Troy.
For next year?
If you had any from this year that panned out or that you were disappointed in.
So I had a couple futures bets. So I had for example, I had Mike McCarthy coach of the year, because I really thought that with Dak Prescott being down last year and them losing so many games, that the Cowboys were going to look really superior this year and have a finished product. And he just made, of course, some stupid coaching decisions down the line that ended up costing him that. But he at one point was the second favorite to win the award. And I felt like I was a genius, because all the books were offering 18 to 20 to 1 on him. So I was I had a few tickets stashed away. And and so that didn't pan out. So that was kind of disappointing. But and then as far as any other predictions that I had, I drafted Aaron Rodgers fully believing that, all that preseason foo-foo stuff that was going on would just kind of bowl over. And that first game gave me I literally shit my pants. Like I was like so scared. I was like, oh my God, we just got our ass kicked by the Saints. They didn't score a single point. I got Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. Like, I'm like, this is like, so like, I was basically counting my season gone, and I made it all the way to the championship game. I survived mathematically like a 1.8% chance of making the playoffs, made the playoffs, and then lost in the championship game by literally like 7 points. So it was a good season overall for me, like prediction wise, draft wise, fantasy wise. But looking towards next year, I'm excited to see what Doug Peterson does with Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. I think they're going to make the biggest leap next year. You're going to see them like win a bunch of games. I think that they shouldn't win, because he's a gambler, and he's going to put all his chips in Trevor Lawrence's basket. And that jump you saw Peyton Manning make from his rookie season, where they went 3-13 to 10-6, is the same sort of jump you're going to see Trevor Lawrence make next year.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what their I don't know if they're out yet. The over-under wins probably won't come out till the schedule, right?
Yeah, it's probably for the Jaguars. I'm guessing it's going to be like 3.5. Like they're going to make it like 2.5, 3.5 games. They're going to make it really low and make it really enticing. And then as we hammer the over, it's going to move up, and it'll eventually get to that 5.5 probably mark. And that's probably where it'll stay until the beginning of the season. We'll see what Circa has to say.
Have to throw some shekels on that. But yeah, fantasy was tough. Not that I didn't win. I mean, I didn't win any championships. I have a hard time doing that. I'm very good at making the playoffs every single year. I'm good enough to do that. I choke in the playoffs every year, just like Aaron Rodgers does against the Packers every time he plays in the playoffs. But my dynasty league, actually, I started out like 0-5, I think. Went on a 9-game win streak to make the playoffs.
Nice.
I lost in the first round.
Oh, all the buildup for nothing.
I had two number one seeds in a couple other leagues that I lost in the second round. It was bad. I just couldn't make the right decisions. That's what I hate about having such a good team. It's like I got to make a big decision every single week about who I'm starting my flex. And that's my conundrum with my dynasty league team right now. I have a lot of very solid skill positions. I just can't.
Isn't that the worst? And then you're sitting on the crapper Sunday morning, 8 a.m. Game start in 2 hours, and you're just like, God, do I start him? You do a bunch of I call it stinker tinkering in the morning. And then, I swear to God, championships are made in the bathroom in the morning on Sundays. Because, you either make the right decisions or you make the wrong ones. The biggest decisions are made on the porcelain throne for fantasy base or fantasy anything, in my opinion.
But yeah, 2022, we'll have to see, obviously, how the draft shakes out. But again, like I said, I already locked in Eagles Super Bowl. We'll see. But no, I'm looking forward to seeing how teams bounce back. Like, because there's a lot of question marks out there at the quarterback spot. The Bucks. Does Brady come back like the Bucks want him to?
He's done.
Brady. The NFC South is just the wild, wild west right now. I mean, the Falcons should win that division as it sits right now. They're the only one that has a quarterback.
That's true. So, it's very true.
Might have to look into that in terms of odds. But Draft obviously will change that, and free agency. But yeah, I'm looking at the Bucks, Saints, Panthers, any team with the quarterback conundrum. What happens with Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson? I'm trying to think who else. Oh, my Steelers. Please keep Kenny Pickett in Pittsburgh. That's the number one goal. Trade however many draft picks you have to get up in front of Washington to get the first quarterback, which is Kenny Pickett in my draft rankings anyways. So, but yeah, next week we'll be back on Monday. We'll be doing the first two picks of the NFL draft, first two teams that have the first two picks, the Jags and Lions. And then next Friday, we'll be back and we will be doing picks numbers 3 and 4, along with number 10 that the Jets have as well. And that is the Texans and Jets. So yeah, I'm excited to start draft coverage next week. It's literally my favorite time. It's what got me into what I wanted to do in being a GM. Draft day, Kevin Costner was a masterpiece.
Oh yeah, it's a good one.
But yeah, that is the show for today. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. FAApodcast.com is our website. You can check us out here on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, etc. And follow Troy as well at Troy Hermo on Twitter and Instagram. And also sign up for his maps. The man will make you money.
That's right. It's all in the maps. When you have the map, you're never alone. So betting these games. So I appreciate you having me on, Rusty.
No problem, brother. I appreciate you.